Alright guys, welcome back to the channel and to the garden. In today's video we're just going to be doing part 2 of our June tropical garden tour. If you haven't caught part 1, that will be on the channel now, as doing the back area here, which is our sort of jungle area, tree ferns, things like that. Certainly check that out if you have not done so yet. But with that said, we'll just kind of jump in and show you the second part, which is our top bed up here, moving over to the back side over there. This is our kind of showcase bed in the front here. Stick with us though guys. I've got one interesting plant that I was very surprised that I can now recommend is going to be sort of, should be ground hardy for you in the UK. And apologies on the wind, it's a bit of a struggle today. We've been battling it a little bit, as you can hear here. Just in front of you though, so you got your Trachycarpus fortunei palm, done fairly well, but as you can see, it does get absolutely battered by the wind, and it does take a little bit of leaf damage. With that said, down here you can see the sedum and sempervivums have just started to come into flower. Lovely plants, and they're great kind of pairing alongside some of your tropicals as well. Just as we move down this way, you can also see here the begonia, great leaf pattern on this, and I love the kind of contrasting, you know, leaves that we get alongside that. You can just see next to that we've got the colocasia black sapphire gecko, which has just come out its first leaf here. This was dry stored in the cupboard, but it's always nice to see, you know, when they do kind of make that comeback. Yucca, you can just see here getting blown around, but this one is the kind of purple variety. Lovely underside leaves on these as well. Just as we come this way, you can also see here, this is our little contemporary pond off the front. If you're interested in that build, it'll be on the channel as well for you. Certainly check that out. In front of you here, you can just see our camellias. This is our white and red variety. If you haven't seen our spring tour, all of these are in flower, including the rhododendrons, azaleas, and everything like that. So if you haven't caught that, certainly take a look at that to see these all in flower. I have lifted the canopy since our last tour, as you might see, really giving us a great view through to the jungle area and the ponds, but also I want to kind of get this eventual to head height so that we can sort of walk under it, similar to the other canopies that we've made in the garden here. Just as we come this way, you can just see here in front of us, we've got another one of the Trachycarpus fortunei palms. Again, I think this may have struggled a little bit during the winter, being its first season in the ground. This one's got about a 3.5 to 4 foot trunk on it, going up to about 6.5, 7 foot to the top of the leaves. You can just see here as well, where this probably was in a greenhouse for some time, as it looks quite stretched. But hoping as the new fronds come out, it should kind of even itself out there. Always takes a little bit of time. Generally say with the palms, it's sort of first year creep, second year sleep, third year leap. So with that said, hopefully the end of this year, next year, we're going to get some good growth on that. Just down in front of us here, got the Dusty Miller. You can just see lovely kind of white, brings like a nice kind of contrast to some of the colors in the garden here. Underneath that, we've got just your simple sort of carnations. Next to that, you can just see the poppy is just coming out of flower now. So what I will be doing is, as soon as these kind of last few flowers go, I'll be cutting this all down, as basically I don't want these seed heads to go to seed and spread sort of millions around the garden. There's already enough to get carried in by the wind here. Just down in front of that, guys, you can just see we've got the Trachycarpus waggy princeps cross. You can just see it did take some leaf damage here, and a couple of my palms did this. I don't know if you guys may have had the same thing, where at some point it's taken either some leaf burn or drought, and I suspect it would have been the drought that we've had. But we do have a new spear coming back up. Other leaves still look like they're in pretty good condition, so, you know, again, pretty happy with that here. Slowly growing for me, but with that said, I think it'll make a nice kind of statement piece in this part of the garden here. Just underneath there, you can just see we've got one of the painted ferns. Down there, that's one of your Erythria niponicums. Great little fern. I've got one in the jungle area that I think's done even better on the colorations, but again, just kind of highlighting that we have the ferns around the garden. This center bed essentially is kind of the, I don't know if you want to call it like the showcase bed, is kind of the idea behind this. I've got a little bit of what I think of everything and every style in the garden in here, and that's what I'm trying to kind of continue on. You can just see down here, got the new yucca rostrata that's gone in. We'll go around and take a look at that a little better, but I'm quite liking the place, and as I've trimmed it up, you can see the lovely trunk there underneath as well. Just as we look into here, hostas starting to get eaten up a little bit, but they are about to come into flower, so I'm quite happy with that. Just down here, we've got one of the I can never remember the name on this. I want to say toadflax. Again, another standard sort of UK native wildflower that I do let them grow around the garden, as I don't mind them. And nice little pops of purple as well. Doesn't seem to be hugely invasive, but they do kind of spring up every year. And again, apologies on the mess, guys. I'm trying to work out what to kind of put in here. More of a kind of standard perennial or evergreen, something just to fill this area. In the meantime, you can just see here, this is our azaleas. Now, if you go back to our older garden tours, you will see things like the azaleas kind of come into flow very, very early in the year, followed by the purple rhododendron you can just see back there, the other rhododendrons here. So essentially what we do get is a bit of like a layering, you know, kind of spring interest on some of the more kind of shrubs, if you will, and then following that, the next area of interest, which we will take a good look at in a minute, is the sedum garden here. Now, as we pan around here, we'll come take a look at that shortly. You can just see, looking over to this bed, we've got another one of the small Trachycarpus fortunei palms. Got about 10 of this size in the garden. All of them seem to be doing pretty well. Had a little bit of suffer from winter damage on the leaf tips and things, but I think that's to be expected first year in the ground. Just as we pan this way, musa basjoo clump, doing fairly well. Decent sized leaf on it this year. Again, this was overwintered, and now we're starting to put on, you know, that's a good 2.5 to 3 foot leaf there. Getting some size up here, and just down below, you can see it's got a few different pups coming up, so I'm glad to see this sort of forming a clump now. Ragusa rose, you can just see here, doesn't like to hold too many flowers at one time, but they are quite nice, and of course lovely smell on these. Oh, the wind's kind of catched it. There we go, a little bit better view on that one. And again, I also like the style of leaf that these have as well. Quite aggressive thorns, as you can see on this one. So this is one definitely, if you're planning it planted near a path or something, just be mindful of that. Down here you can see Trachycarpus princeps hybrid. Now this one is doing really well for its size. You can see new frond coming out. This one already new for this year, so it is starting to put out some good leaf growth. And underneath, I can just, it's kind of hard to catch it in the light, you can see that kind of glaucous whitey blue underneath, you know, the kind of form of this plant here. Just looked here, clematis doing well, kind of out of flower now. It will be kind of taken over by the hops, which you can see here, and these will come into flower sort of later in the year. So again, adding to that kind of layering that we have in the garden here. Down here, one of the standard Diropterus ferns. It's got a little bit less kind of moisture, and you can just see some of the fronds are kind of coming out a bit unhappy here, but it will kind of straighten itself out, and it's its first year in the ground as well. It was transplanted, so you know, again, I'm just happy that it's decided to continue putting out fronds. This one, I believe, is actually a yucca century, blue century. Again, this was given to me for free, so you know, I didn't have any sort of plant labels or anything with it, but after it's been growing for some time now, I do believe it could be the blue century yucca. So certainly, guys, if you know, if you think you have any idea on that, certainly let me know. You can just see down here, sort of decent sized little trunk on it, and you got the aerial roots just there. So again, these are very easy to transplant. Literally just pop them in the ground. I put this one in with no roots at all, and it's you know, still going away fine, and holding its leaves and everything else. It's been in the ground now for a couple years. Brunnera, lovely little clump, just coming out of flower, which you can see. It tends to put out the smaller leaves on the flowers, and then once it does, you're going to get a lot bigger leaves there. Again, a nice kind of contrasting plant against some of your tropicals. Just down here, got the bracken. And again, common UK fern, literally can be found pretty much anywhere. I think it's one of the most common ferns in the world. Nice kind of structure to it. Next to the Diropterus, I think it goes quite nicely. The Diropterus is starting to lean a bit here, but yeah, it goes quite nicely. You can just see one of the cannas coming back up as well. Again, they've been very slow for me this year. Certainly in the comments, guys, let me know if your cannas and gingers and things like that have been you know, on time, bit early, bit slow. Be interested to kind of you know, hear how everyone else's is doing. Down next to that, got another poppy about to flower. We've also got some of the hardy fuchsia, which just show you some of the flowers on one that's already out, which is here. And you can just see I love these. Come back every year, and again, it's just the kind of lovely flowers. This is actually an edible plant as well. But with that said, obviously I don't grow it for the eating wise. I grow it for the flowers, and I just love that. Lovely, you know, great for the insects and things like that as well. Blazing star, loads of heads this year. This is going to be, I think, very, very pretty when it flowers. I think it's going to be in the next month or so. As soon as that does, I will update you guys and show you what that looks like. Again, front view of the hops, you can see it sort of just envelops everything. Yeah, it's one of those ones I really need to get on with getting it trailing properly. One idea was to build like a pergola around this area and trail it sort of over the top so that the hops do kind of hang down, almost like sort of a grapes type thing. Still an idea, but again, we've got some other ideas for the garden, so we're going to kind of work through those first before we make too many decisions. Down here, celebration roses. Lovely, just coming out of flower on this one, coming into flower on these, and you can just see they've got such a lovely kind of pink to them, lovely rose structure as well. Again, I don't really grow too many roses in the garden, but you know, of course I do like the color pops they do give. You see yucca? This one has also gone into flower. Looks lovely when they do come into flower. I've got loads flowering in the garden, which you'll see certainly around the back bed here. Just a very quick glimpse all the way back there. That will be in the next garden tour. The last part of the garden tour, guys, will cover the back of the mini golf course here, our arid style bed with our butia, cacti and things like that, and of course things like our large musa basjoo, onset morellis, a few other cool plants back there. Just to carry on from here though, now one that I'm very pleased about is one that, again, if you look back on the channel, you may have seen we were doing an experiment with the Philbodium aureum, or the blue star fern. And again, I had been reading basically yet that there is a good chance it should be able to get through in the ground. And finally, it has put out its first little frond, which if I can, wow, startings of a frond, see if I can get it to focus right there. That little one right there. Just coming out, and it's really good to see that. So, you know, I'm pretty pleased, even though it's a very slow start, and it is an epiphyte, so, you know, in the ground probably isn't its best spot. But with that said, pleased that I can say, guys, at least, you know, down to a -6C without protection, you know, one that certainly you can try on the ground. Next to that, another one of our Brunnera. Now, this is a different variety to the one I've shown you. This has much more of the silvery kind of coloration to it. I want to say this is like the Jack Frost or something like that. Again, there's a few different varieties of Brunnera available. I know this one was the kind of a little bit more kind of whiter one out of the bunch there. Just looking up, sorry, you got the large rhododendron. This is our purple flowering one. You can just see the end of here. It is again now going to be putting on its sort of new leaf growth coming into the year, and we'll just kind of keep it on the single stem that it is here. And you can just see it's a bit more like a tree, again lifting up this canopy over the next few months as well. Down underneath, got some of the standard ferns here. Got quite a few different types of ferns around the garden, and again, if you didn't catch the first part of the tour, that's kind of our almost fernery. Lots of different ferns over in that area of the garden. Lavender, doing really, really well. Again, I just love the smell on this, you know, the leaves, and also the way that it kind of trails out and kind of goes out over the path here. Just down here, you can see another one of the Trachycarpus fortunei palms, doing pretty well. Had a little bit of damage. You can just see, I think it's probably not getting the best airflow in this position, but hopefully it will grow out of that. Down here, you can just see yucca. Again, putting on some new flower spikes as we take a look, and again that will be very soon coming into flower. Just as we turn this way, you can see our 5-head cordyline that died back to the ground 2-3 years ago has now come up and really starting to put on some size. I would say that's probably up to about 5.5-6 foot now, with loads of healthy heads in there. Just next to that, our Trachycarpus fortunei that did come into full flower here, which you can see just coming, well, flowers are gone now, but it did have the full flowers there. Really, really healthy. Lots of new leaves on this one. And again, I think it has taken a little bit of sunburn, but again, I think it's because we've had such a bright sort of spring. UV's definitely been very high this year, we've noticed. Down here, you can just see another one of the ferns. We've got another Brunnera. And this is the yucca jewel, which, if you remember, guys, from previous video, died completely back. Got loads of new new sprouts coming off of the base there. So we're going to let that grow. Again, these are really only supposed to be hardy down to about a -2. And we had a -6, so I'm really not surprised. But it is putting on quite cool variegation on the new leaves here. So again, with that said, it'll be interesting to see if this does actually carry on and grow any further, or make it through this year. Xanthodecia, most of the flowers have died off now, and we'll have a kind of new flush of flowers quite soon. Again, kind of high water requirements on these ones here. Great plant though. This is a perennial form. He comes back every year. You can just see we're up to about 4.5 to 5 foot on that as well. Panning this way, and again, if you didn't see our most recent video about the musa sikkimensis, so this is our Bengal banana from the Sikkim region. The pops have some lovely stripes this year. I'm really pleased. You can just see in the inside of that one. Again, loads coming out here. So I'll get it to focus. So very pleased with this. Mother plant does have some of the variegation, or the striping, if you will. And again, on the back side of these, the leaf is that kind of goldeny red. Really pretty plant. And again, one that, for the reason why I wanted it in this big top bed here, is because of, again, it's something slightly different to the musa basjoo, which I do have many clumps around the garden already. So this one's kind of like a little bit more of a showpiece. And again, in the ground, in the winter, protected like musa basjoo, come back really nice. You can see all the pops have this really kind of pretty variegation and striping that's synonymous with this plant. Yucca, a bit closer now. You can just see he's lifted, raised, giving it as much drainage as it can, but it does look fairly healthy other than that. And it does look like as well at some point this may have flowered, which does lead me to believe it is a fairly old specimen. Generally with these, to get any sort of trunk, you're looking at sort of at least sort of 10 years. So imagine this is maybe 15, 20 years old perhaps, but they can grow up to a foot a year when they are happy. So again, be nice to see this shoot up and really kind of take over this spot. Just as we come this way, the triple trunk shamrops. Again, that lovely kind of white undertones on it. If I can try and get it on camera. Really pretty. And again, when you look into the center here, you can just see all of the new spears coming up. All of that really kind of white on it there. Very pretty on that. And this is just one of the standard Shamrops humilis here. And you can just see on the bottom of this leaf base. Very interesting on that side. Probably the first year that it's really gone white like that. It always has the tone to it, but with that said, of course, yeah, really kind of, I think the sun has done it this year. And you can just see, having a look at those trunks now, lovely little trunks that we're trimming out. Some of the pups at the base have started to come back, but we'll trim those out as well. Now on to what I would say is probably the main show of the bed at this time of year, which is going to be your sedum and sempervivum garden. You can just see all the kind of dainty flowers you get on these, and it really kind of lights up. You can see the whole bed now coming together. I did disturb the bed when I was fixing the waterfalls here, so it's not as big of a show this year, but it is still carrying on. If we just come in and take a look here, if I can get it to focus, you got some of the sempervivums putting up their flower spikes. Lovely little flowers on that. Just taking a look through, you can just see we've got a few of them tucked up underneath inside the sort of cave area there. One of the larger ones here, which again, if I put my hand next to it, quite a decent size, and I love it. It almost looks like a mini agave on that side. You can also see here, we've also got some of the other ones that have come into flower off the back side as well. And you just get these lovely colors on these. I'd highly recommend sedum and sempervivum if you don't already grow it in your garden. Great sort of evergreen plant on that side. And just with that said as well, taking a look down here, another one of the Diropterous ferns, just giving us that little bit of kind of touch of green next to it here. And in the center, we've got our 4-foot Dixonia Antarctica tree fern, done really well. That has flushed 21 new fronds this year, compared to the, I think it was 12 it was supposed to have last year. As 5 of them actually sort of died off, so I only really had 7 last year as its first year. So this year really put out a show, and the fronds are also, I would say, equally as big as they were last year, if not slightly bigger. So very pleased to see on that side. With your tree ferns, typically they're going to hold sort of 3 years worth of growth in the crown. So, you know, it's kind of after that three to 4 year mark is when you're really going to see kind of how it's adapted to the UK climate as well. But certainly, guys, if you have your tree ferns, when it's windy, anything like that, just make sure you're getting out and watering these. Mine are on an irrigation system now to keep them sort of fully topped up all to any time that it needs to be, basically. But just with that said, yeah, guys, of course, thanks for watching. If you haven't checked out the friends of the channel, please make sure to do so. Go on and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, certainly feel free to do so. Join our amazing community. Again, don't miss part 3 coming soon when we take a look at the back area here and some of the other larger plants that we have as well. But with that said, of course, yeah, thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.